They have too much time, too much free time because many of them are engineers and they are really excited to learn every time. And the skill development we provide in Mozilla as a volunteer. So people were very excited and they were joining into different programs, and 6 months we posted this blog post by George. So it's called as reinventing the campus, Mozilla on campus. So George spoke about like what is our approach and when can we expect the happening take place into action. And so the main reason behind this is, yeah, this thing. So first we used to have campus reps, then again we changed to FSA program. And the FSAs were under participation team, under marketing team, and then we in the January we shifted from marketing team to the participation team. And there are other team called as Make a Party. So that was a 2-month campaign which was running in Mozilla, run by Mozilla Foundation. And for that, for a long run case, we had Mozilla clubs, and the webmaker is changed into Mozilla Learning. And in addition to that, Mozilla has its presence in Mozilla interns and Mozilla tech speakers in the campuses. So our main goal was like to create a single program which helps the whole generation of students to be join into different contributions areas and contribute to them. And yes, and the future. We will have a unified presence of Mozilla on the campuses. So we'll give opportunities for joining into different projects and contributing. And yes. So the shortest version, like we have been inactive in the FSC program for the past few months, so because we were evolving ourselves to be more productive and more impactful in the Mozilla community. So the shortest version is the Firefox Student Ambassador program and Firefox clubs have been stopped. So the people who are already registered in registered their Firefox clubs and who are already FSAs, we have a direction for you. And I am very happy to disclose this entire thing in a Mozilla India Meetup. I think you are the first group of people who are going to know where the campus program is heading in Mozilla. And they are replaced by Mozilla Campus Clubs. So the Firefox clubs will be called as Mozilla Campus Clubs, and so they were called as FSAs. Now everyone is a Mozillian. The tag will be used by everyone, and the existing clubs can transform and can transition into Mozilla Campus Clubs. The activities you will have more activities. So when we were in marketing team, we used to run campaigns. We used to have a little contribution part, like we used to have app of the month, and people were involved in Stumbler of the month and that kind of programs. Now we have broader goals and we have a broader perspective. And we are going to involve in most activities, and we are going to be the main contribution. We are going to be the main contribution program in Mozilla in the couple of months. And yes, the focused areas. So for now, we are mainly concentrating on 3 programs. One is technology, one is teaching, and advocacy. So when it comes to technology, we will have different functional groups. We are involving many functional groups. We have project we contribute to. But at one point of time, we all celebrated the maker parties. We went to schools, we went to old age homes, we went to different events, we went to schools, we went to colleges, and we taught people about the basics of web and how their life can be impacted with the help of web. And the advocacy. So our main goal for the last 1 year was we were concentrating more on privacy and security and this advocacy. We have reforming many things. We have helping people to educate themselves about privacy. And this January we had the privacy month, the first privacy month with a huge impact on the whole global community. It is not only in the Mozilla community. We had a great impact in this privacy perspective in the whole world. So these are the main three focus areas which we are going to have in the program in a couple of months we are going to launch. And this time our main impact is going to be quality, not quantity. So we had different goals. And there we used to count the number of events, number of activities, and these kind of things where we were concentrating on those things. But now our focus is changed from quantity to quality. Everyone, so the club structure we are designing is going to be very impactful because everyone in the club is going to be a leader of something and he will be responsible for everything. And that enables him to motivate his people. And if he is a person, he will get motivated by his leader. So that is the kind of structure we are designing right now. And I'm so excited to present this to you here. Yes, I think, yeah, get ready to take action. I think I can hand over the mic to George. George?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. So I hope everyone is as excited as Santosh about this new structure and me. I think it provides so many great opportunities for us, and the idea is to not make this theoretical and spend the next few months just like working on structure, but to actually like start doing stuff and do stuff big and do stuff now. And so I talked a little bit about this yesterday, or I said like, hey, there's a maker party. There's a maker party. And it's totally rebooted this year, and it's getting tons of resources. It is a collaboration of the participation team, the advocacy team, the policy team, Mozilla Leadership Network, Mozilla Marketing. We hope it's a pretty good time for students, particularly in India. I think there'll be some class time that overlaps with. It's probably not perfect, but I think I hope it'll be good enough. And I want to tell you a little bit about what it is this year. So really quick, let me give a background on the issue. So that's a picture of the Eiffel Tower at night. Showing this right now is illegal. I just broke the law. The government and country of France has made it illegal to show pictures, unauthorized pictures of the Eiffel Tower at night. It breaks copyright law. This is crazy. And there are so many crazy similar copyright laws right now. I just read yesterday as I was coming in 2 days ago, I guess, as I was coming to India in the Times of India, that there's a new law that has been put in place in a couple of Indian states that if you go to a website that has pirated material, you can be fined and put in jail for up to 3 years. Fucking nuts! Like, that's crazy, right? Like, how many of us really rely on being able to reuse images, reuse ideas, reuse code to be able to get our work done? So copyright really matters. And ensuring that we are reforming copyright in the direction that allows for creativity that allows for all of us to participate on the web in the way that we want to and not be criminals, I think is extraordinarily important. And it goes right at the heart of a number of Mozilla's issues in our issue agenda. So if you look at open innovation, if we're going to have open innovation, then we better have reformed copyright laws that allow us to innovate and allow us to get stuff done and allow us to reuse ideas. If we're going to have a really good decentralization where different people are able to act without asking permission, then we better have reformed copyright laws. Now, here's the challenge, and here's where Maker Party fits. So Maker Party in the past was all about teaching, right? It was all about web literacy. It was all about getting people connected. And that's a good mission in itself. But what we want to do this year is do those very interactive events, and I'll talk to you a little bit about some of the activities, the 3 activities we're proposing. But we want to connect those with the broader issue and mission of creativity and copyright. So very much like what type of laws, what type of world do we need that will allow us to make and allow us to be makers and allow us to actually have a maker party. So we had lots of good ideas about how we would do this. One of them was to see if we could get 1 million people around the world all breaking a law at the same time. We decided not to go that way because it might be a little bit risky for Mozilla to be a group that gets everyone breaking laws. But instead, we came up with some other ways to try to get people to learn about this issue. And we're not pretending that copyright is naturally sexy and copyright reform is naturally sexy. I think it'll be difficult if you walked up and kind of started a presentation, you're like, I'm going to talk about copyright reform. People would just go to sleep. They wouldn't stand up and cheer, right? It's a hard issue. But it's really important for people in our society, in all of India, to start to understand it. It's really important for us to engage a series of activists who will stand up, and when the government takes a particular direction, like on net neutrality, will stand up and say, actually, this is important to me. So what Maker Party is all about is really teaching and helping enable an understanding of this issue through a bunch of fun activities that all of us can run. And my personal opinion and deep experience is that student campuses are the place to make this happen. Before I was at Mozilla, I was spending a lot of time in Canada on student campus action. And through the organization that I was working with, we ran a lot of campaigns where students were the primary actors. Students were the primary activists. And these were largely engineering students, similar to, I think, what we have in Mozilla. And one of them was on a very, very technical law related to how money flows between quote-unquote richer countries and quote-unquote poorer countries. And it was super technical. It was I could barely understand the law and which direction we wanted it to go. I could understand it at a high level, but not at a granular level. And yet we were able to build a series of activities on campuses that reached people both on those campuses and outside of the campuses that got enough of a wave of interest in this that, and for example, one of them was there isn't enough transparency. So on campuses across Canada, they built massive black boxes overnight, all coordinated on one night. They did a guerrilla exercise to build massive black boxes in the middle of major intersections on campuses and just left them there in the morning, massive, 20 meters by 20 meters by 20 meters, huge. And they were just these black boxes. And people came around and they were able to kind of talk about why this movement of money was a black box. It was totally not transparent. And they got media and they got activists, and eventually that campaign that changed the laws, the direction of the laws in Canada. And it was purely from students. And I think that's possible. Like, I think students have immense power to drive ideas. And so for us, what we can do is also get really technical about this. So it's about making, but also making with this purpose on top. So what Maker Party is going to be is basically a series of events or activities. Ideally, if the activities and events are out there, they're like more than 50 people. So in the past, you may remember Maker Party was like, hey, get around your table. We're not doing that anymore because we didn't think that that had that much impact. So it's very much like significant events, which I know you guys don't have a problem with. Like, that is a core competency of this community, is making awesome events. So awesome events that might be 1 to 3 hours long, that will be really interactive, and that will be around this issue. So let me talk about the 3 activities that are being written up for suggestion. And what we're going to do after the Q&A, which is going to be a minute or 2 from now, is we're going to actually take one of these and start to localize it for India. Not translate it, but try to look at it and see, like, hey, would this activity make sense? If not, how would we change it so that it would make sense on campuses in across India? So the first one, contributing to the commons, is basically a Maker Party activity to get people to learn about the commons. So something like Wikimedia, like, has all sorts of pictures up there that are Creative Commons license, that are, you know, and both the pictures and text is all under particular commons. So what we're going to do is, it's an activity to learn about the commons and then to start uploading stuff and contributing to the commons. So that's that activity. The second activity is hack a business plan. So the idea there is very much to kind of look at problems that are challenged by unreasonable copyright law. So, you know, for example, let's say the need to be able to reuse proprietary code. So what it would be is coming up with an idea of, like, how you would do a business that would get around that problem of proprietary code. So maybe that obviously would be like an open source kind of project, a new open source project or something like that. And then the last one, and this is the one that we'll localize, so you'll see it later, is don't break the internet. So the idea is, like, helping people discover that there's some things that if they didn't exist, or if copyright was more restrictive, would actually break the internet. So, for example, if there's a set of code that right now is in an open public repo, but that got made proprietary, but that 1,000 different projects all point to, and you removed that, it would break the internet. And there are many of those types of libraries, right? And so how could you maybe create an add-on that makes people aware of the number of open libraries that a particular website relies on, or something like that? So it's more of a creative exercise. We're going to dig into that more later. As you can see, these are a little bit more substantial than past Maker Party. So it's not like a quick, like, learn the internet, and it's not for a super introductory audience. The first one is a little bit, but the next ones are for a little bit more advanced audiences. So you'll need to get a little bit more creative about who you're inviting and how. And these are just starters, of course. Like, think about other ideas of how you might be able to get around teach people about the idea of creativity and copyright and get them engaged in that. So the questions to kind of think about are, you know, and we're going to have some action planning this afternoon, not in this session, but it will be like, how many people across India could we actually engage in this substantial way? What would it look like? How could we set some goals around that? How can we ensure that that engagement is really high quality and deep so that people walk out and they don't forget it an hour later, but in fact it makes sure that this issue is something that they care about? And the last one is like, how can we use this Maker Party to energize these campus clubs and to really drive this transition from Firefox clubs, which will no longer exist, to this new campus club and program structure? So those are kind of three questions to think about. And I'll pass it back to Santosh for a quick wrap up and then Q&A.
I hope everyone got the shortest version of the FSA program. So we had around from the past 5 to 6 years, we had around 10,000 FSAs and 200 to 300 registered Firefox clubs on our wiki pages. And so everything is stopped, and because most of the students are graduated, and we still have the details because we don't know if they are still working on this. And we are replacing the whole structure with this Mozilla campus clubs. So you can participate as a team, as a group, and everyone will have the actual recognition and actual leadership in the whole club structure. And everyone will be called as a Mozillian. Now we have a unique name for everyone who are contributing to Mozilla and who are a part of this upcoming campus program, Mozilla Campus Clubs program. And let's get active. Thank you. Question and answers, yeah.
Why we have replaced FSA program?
The main reason is the FSA program before 6 months, so we were under marketing team. Our activities were completely into this marketing activities. And now we moved to participation team to energize the students to get more participation from the students. This is one reason. And the second reason is we have, in the starting I told you, there are many presence in the campus. So we have tech speakers, we have science lab, we have Mozilla clubs, we have Firefox clubs. So our main goal was to have a unified presence in the campus and give leadership, distributed leadership to a group so that we can be more impactful and we can involve many people into the contribution. Yes.
So do all the things like science clubs, they will all come under Mozilla campus?
So the thing is, the science clubs and Mozilla clubs, they are not only into the campus. They are special communities and everything. But when it comes to the campus, their activities are also included in this so that they get huge participation from the campus also.
Will FSA program have a structured way of contributing?
Yes.
So will campus club also has like a structure that is going to be planned?
Yes. We have the structure, but since we don't have time, so I was unable to present it. Yes, we have this. We have a more impactful and distributed leadership structure. So we have like 3 activities, right? So a person will be, we'll be having 3 leads, and he will be accountable for the activities going on that in the particular stream.
When is this going live?
September, hopefully. Yes.
What happens to the current members who are involved with the programs like Tech Speaker or Interns or MLN or all those would be dissolved and they would be put under the campus, Mozilla campus clubs?
So the tech speakers, it is not a club, so they are individuals who are speaking. So they will help the Mozilla campus clubs in their participation. And when it comes to...
That means that they are an individual, like they are an entity apart from Mozilla campus.
Yes. But they will be helpful. They can join the program and they can help the individuals in this campus clubs, the tech speakers. And when it comes to Mozilla clubs, so there are 2 types of Mozilla clubs which are in the campus and Mozilla clubs which are outside the campus. So outside campus, they will continue their activities, and the Mozilla clubs which are inside the campus, so they will, we transition them into this Mozilla campus clubs. So the people who are already working on that web literacy track can continue with the track. And in addition to that, if they are really excited to have a broader participation, then they can join other activities.
So the Tech Speaker program can be counted as Mozilla club outside the campus?
No. Yeah.
Can I answer?
Yeah, you can answer. Just a minute. Yeah.
I guess, George, we are actually going to start the discussion with the other, I mean, the tech speaker and Mozilla Science Lab. We are actually trying to put those in the same, in like one hub. I mean, the campus program. But right now we don't have like all the details, but we are trying. But as of now, Mozilla Clubs and Firefox Student Ambassador program is merged, and we are now the Mozilla Campus program.
Yeah.
So I have a question about the focus areas. So you mentioned we have tech, teaching, and advocacy as the focus areas. What about the sumo and localization, things like that?
Yeah. So for now, we haven't planned the sumo and localization track, and we'll try to include in one of the 3 tracks, but we have not yet included that because our main focus was to, I mean, the emerging tracks which are coming right now, like Rust, WebVR. So we are trying to include the students more into that participation. So
My point was that in the FSA program, the best part was that since they are the new people joining in, so we should give them an opportunity for all the available possibilities. And usually those students are not that much technically strong to be able to join the WebVR or the
yes, yeah.
So you already know that sumo and localization were 2 of the main areas where they used to get started with, and they used to get the feeling of the Mozillian, and then they used to get so I think this could be one of the major focus areas at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Or do you want to answer?
Yeah, so basically, sumo localized and everything as far as I know. No, no, it's okay. It's okay. No, 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 because
Live stream. This is for live stream.
It's live stream.
Oh, so I was telling that localizing sumo is more towards the individual contribution areas. As per the campus programs, are more of getting the awareness, as in let it be about advocacy and web literacy. So I think that is what this campus program.
But again, because the first thing you told was that most of the contributors we get from the campus. So those things will go away there.
Okay, wait. Run the mic.
Okay, I'll come there. So my point was just for the discussion point of view that since you guys are also agreeing, like everyone agrees that we have these clubs so that we can get the upcoming or the future Mozillians, Mozillians and maybe the Mozilla apps or the active contributors in the main focus areas. So they are joining today with help of these sumo and these functional areas, not from the privacy, or they are definitely coming from those areas also, but for the easy onboarding and for the very smooth onboarding process, these were the areas which were major focus, or like which were the major attraction for them as of today.
The mic is a little sensitive. You can just point it out in that.
Oh, really? Just like this is fine. Okay, so Santosh will hold the mic. So I think it's a really important point. The meta point around that on campuses, what we need to be great at is recruiting new people into those campus programs. What I would push us to do is think about not just our tried and true areas where we got new Mozillians, but to really try to understand how we can build new ways to bring new people in that aren't necessarily just those tried and true areas. And what we really envision is that each 3 of those have really good onboarding and early engagement paths. So, for example, in advocacy, maybe it's something around like learning about the issues of copyright, and then doing kind of ongoing evergreen Maker Party activities, for example. So in theory, we should be able to get somebody ramped up to learn about stuff, to learn about how to facilitate a session, and then send them out to a high school or a public school and have them do that there. And that should be a fairly natural path. Maybe it's not as low a path as just translating a couple of strings, but I think one of the big hypotheses here is to not go for the easiest, lowest bar possible, but to try to make it a little harder for people to get in so that we're getting highly committed people rather than just a lot of people. And this goes back to Santosh's point. It's like, I think we'd rather, I would rather us report that we have 150, let's say in India, 500 very active students across the country, each contributing 10, 20 hours a week in really substantial ways, than that we have 10,000 people in Mozilla student campus clubs. And that they're maybe, they show up once in a while. I don't think it matters to have 10,000 people showing up once in a while. I think it matters to have a small number of people doing a lot. And so maybe we want to make the bar to get in actually a little higher, but still have a good onboarding into each of those areas.
I have a small point. So there was always this discussion that sumo and things like webmaker attracted an easier, since they are a little easy to contribute, they attracted people who are not technically that sound. So I'm just being the devil's advocate. Will that mean that the sumo program gets less contributors now? How do we plan to tackle that?
And in addition to that, one more point. So my point was just that to give them all the options. Now I myself joined the program with the sumo, contributing to sumo, and I was like the Twitter community. I was part of the Twitter community. But then, we jumped into the other areas. Yeah. So limiting to few, just 3 areas and blocking few of the options doesn't look very good to me. That's just for the open public.
So let's take this as a question offline, because I think it's a good one. Right. My quick response to that, I think there's 2 different philosophies at play here. And I think I hold one fairly strong, and I think others hold others. I actually hold fairly strongly small number of really well-designed things to begin with, and then give people the opportunity to discover from there, rather than a large number, than a large menu of choices. And I think they're 2 different philosophies, and I don't necessarily think we need to resolve this right now, but I think it's an important conversation.
Yeah, I think he was having a question. Okay.
So my question is as we have restructuring the clubs at the college level, and we are also changing the flavors. Earlier it was creativity, now it's coming into the advocacy and a teaching concept. So talking about the functional and the operational side, are we going to have something different or new things from the college club perspective?
So you're talking about the organizational structure?
Right.
Operational structure. For the campus structure which we designed right now, so I'll just give you an overview. So there will be a club captain, we used to have a Firefox club lead. So we are going to have a club captain, and under him, since we have 3 functional areas, the 3 functional areas are going to have a lead, like technology lead, advocacy lead, and teaching lead. So, and below that, there will be a group of people, and the one who is interested in what, they can join that group. Yeah.
That's the functional. And what about the operational side?
So operational, it's more of in the hands of the club captain, and if he thinks that he need help from an operational team and people are interested in operation, then he can get along with the club captain.
I'm sorry, I have another question to George. See, the clubs, basically the FSA clubs are apart from the teaching and keeping people interactive with the Mozilla, it's also a kind of promotional platform to Mozilla, right? But since we are introducing the things like the teaching, especially the advocacy, what I think, or maybe you can correct me, do you think it is going to attract more people or the more college students as compared we have in the earlier stages? Suppose the maker party, it is we were having students from 200 to the 1000 as we did in the 2014 in Kerala side. So, but now with this new concept, do you think we can attract more students?
So, first of all, I think we should ask ourselves, what's the goal? Is it more students or more impact? And I think that one of the things that we're really making the case for here is it's more impact. And sometimes that may mean more people. So for example, if we were running an advocacy campaign on net neutrality, you probably need 1 million signatures or 10 million signatures. So you need more people, and you need to reach those people. But let's say that we're, one of the technology pieces is around WebVR and coming up with new libraries. Like, you actually don't need 1 million people. You need like 10 really good people. And so it's less about numbers and much more about, in each of the areas for the particular thing, what is the impact we want to have? What are then the activities we want to do, and how many people do we need to achieve that? So it's trying to get like quite granular there.
Quality and not quantity, as it was mentioned that
Totally.
it is of quality and not quantity.
Exactly. And so the key, though, I think that you're asking, and I don't think we know the answer to this, is will this be as attractive to students on campus? So will we still get great students? Will we still get the people we need to have the impact? I don't think we know yet, right? Like, I think that's what we have to try. And I think the piece around leading with Mozilla's brand links a little bit also to my presentation yesterday, which is about trying to get people connected to Mozilla's mission versus getting them connected to Mozilla's products. So, and then the last point there is marketing Firefox in person does not work. It is a waste of time. We don't get any downloads from it. We don't get any brand value from it. We've now tested this very quantitatively. And that's only because the world has changed. This is maybe the last year or two that it's really changed. With the explosion of online advertising in social media streams, in-person marketing is like much, much reduced in its effectiveness. And so, so also what this is doing is making sure that, hey, if I'm a student and I'm contributing my time, like that time is worth something to that person. So we better make it on something that is worthwhile to that person and to Mozilla's mission. So those are the kind of 3 points there.
Yeah, I have a question regarding granularity. I had the same question during the FSA program. Like, at situations there are like three colleges in the same venue. So there were like multiple clubs in the same area or in the same, at times in the same campus. How are we going to plan? Are we going to change anything? And if yes, how?
So I think for now we are going to have a club for every college, and for suppose if we got multiple applications for like multiple teams, then we combine them. So if we got from 3 teams, then there will be three club captains, and for every okay, so there will be 3 club captains, and under every under technology, under advocacy, under the learning track, so we'll have 3 leads. So instead of choosing a lead from them, they act as team, and they will be accountable for a particular activity in the club. Yeah.
So one more question: Are we
Yes.
going to include schools also?
No, I think so. The age for the planning until now is for 18 plus people. So even because the engineers can, I think in India they'll start from 16, but there are some legal discussions going on about the age group. So once that is done, we can have a clear view about that. Yeah.
Now, since like we had the Firefox Student Ambassador program, and like the newbies who just registered for it a few months ago, so now if we tell them that the FSA is closed, so since they don't know much about Mozilla, they feel like as if they've lost their identity and they get discouraged. So how do we keep them encouraged? We need to keep them going, like, oh, it's okay, it's not the end, you can still.
Okay, Biraj. He'll answer.
So actually we are not closing the program. So every FSS will get a mail that we are not closing the program, but you will be get directed to that. Okay.
So,
Program name was
Yes, the change.
by FSA is equal to Mozilla Club.
Yes, Mozilla Campus program.
Yeah, campus program.
So, and then we'll, like, as we have now the FSA, so that time we will have some different thing. I mean, so we will give them.
yeah, and actually I can say that the Take Back the Web campaign we designed, to learn the same things. So when we launched this Take Back the Web campaign, there are many newbies who recently joined FSA, have participated in it, have re-registered and participated in it, and that was never a discouragement. And they felt very, they became very active than the regular ones because they realized that there is a lot of learning opportunity because of the continuous follow-ups and everything. I think that is one learning we had from the Take Back the Web campaign, and that is what we are going to implement it here.
Take Back the Web campaign is going to continue, right?
No, that will be a part of, that was just a campaign for that 1 month, and the learnings, we are going to implement it in this campus program.
But they are individually contributing, not as a leading their team.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
in this campus clubs
Hmm.
as compared to
Okay, so about individual participation. So for individual participation, presently we don't have a complete plan. And the plan from what we have is, so the individual contributor can contribute individually in the existing activities. He won't be registering to this Firefox, this Mozilla Campus Club, but he will be participating individually, and he will be connected to the nearby club so that he can participate. If he don't have a club, because he might not be having like-minded people around him. So that is why what we are trying to do is, we will redirect him to the nearby club so that he can actively participate in by joining that club. Yes. Questions?
Who is in this program, like in FSA?
Yeah. So we had the structure, but since I thought we won't be having the time. So we have Lucy and Christos, the employees who are working on it, and George, along with few other participation leaders, are in the review committee. And below that, we have a campus advisory committee. So the existing FSA structure, just a minute. So the existing FSA structure, like the E board, regional ambassador leads, and a few chosen regional coordinators of the Take Back the Web campaign, and a few people from the Mozilla clubs, the top the top structure people are involved in this campus advisory committee. So
I was asking about the students. So earlier, if I want to be a FSA, I just want, have to register there.
yes.
Now, if I want to join a club or I want to join that thing, what is the formal process or?
Okay, so we can we show the website? Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
So this is a draft. I'm not sure if you can tweet it or not, but yes, have a look at it. Oh, okay. So no problem. So this is our Mozilla Campus Club's website. So this is going to be launched when we launch the program, and you can get over there, and we have very much information on it, because we used to use wikis in FSA program, but we learned from that and we implemented a lot in this, so that it will be easy for a newbie. If a newbie goes to this website, that website will make them fall in love with the program, and they'll join that program.
Is it live now?
No, it's not live.
No. This will be live in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
None of the links work. It's just kind of the visual. A lot of the content is there. And on it, you can't see it off of this front page, but there will be a find a club near you. And it'll be able to bring up a map of all the existing clubs. And then you can click on it and it'll say contact your club captain to get involved.
So my point was that who all are the members there, because we were saying
It goes through the club captain and the club executives,
okay.
rather than through what has been with the FSA program. So there'll no longer be like become an FSA.
Okay.
That become an FSA will not be part of the flow. It will be very much like join your local club.
And he said that everyone will be Mozillian now, not FSA. So does that also relate to that vouch Mozillian thing, or?
So the vouching thing, generally, most probably we will be using the vouching we used in FSA program. Like if they are an FSA senior, then we used to watch it. So now we won't watch him in the starting, but
basically,
yeah.
they will not be actual Mozillians.
Yes,
they will
yes,
have
yes.
worked on the web.
Yeah.
But then, like when someone registers for to be a Mozillian, I would like to suggest if there could be some basic profile they have.
Right.
Because it's like the person
Yeah.
doesn't understand itself what's happening.
Mhm.
People are like, okay, I think I don't have, I'm not there on registered or something like that. So some basic profile.
I'll take this input because I mean what we have planned. I mean generally we use our Mozillians.org profile to show them as a profile. So even we thought that will continue, but maybe in the further discussions when we launch the program, there might be another recognition platform for that.
Can you capture that as a note to follow up on? Because I think that's a really
Yeah.
I think this flow of how people, I don't think we fully figured out the flow of how people come into a club and how we capture then their email address, how we maybe allow them to create a profile. We haven't fully figured out that, not that it was great for the FSA program, because it was just going into a big mailing list. But I don't think we fully figured out the flow. So I think that's a really important point to get right before launch.
I had a similar question yesterday. Actually, I had noted down and I saw given to them that what about the newly joining volunteers? So how will they know the details about what sectors they can work in, and like how they can register and these all things. So if we can have means a team like or a group of students or a group of people which are already Mozillians to help them out, to work with them or to to explain them that how to do and what to do.
So whenever you formed a team and register in this as a club, so you will be immediately assigned to a regional coordinator. So the regional coordinator is an experienced Mozillian who have an idea about the whole club structure and the activities going on in that. So he will give you a presentation on like this is what people are doing and this is what you can do and this is what you can learn. So the regional coordinator will be an immediate contact to you, and whatever you have, you can just reach out to him, and he'll give you the entire information.
The other thing, though, related to that, I think a very important point here is this relies on clubs to have strong club captains and strong club executives to get the recruitment on the onboarding right. And if they don't get it right, then that group is accountable for that failure or success. There's no fail-safe mechanism of some international or global program that will kind of catch those people. They're only going to be caught if they're caught by the campus teams. So it puts a lot of accountability on the individual campus teams to be good, which I think is part of the design, and it was a big part of the conversation that a lot of us who were kind of thinking about this program had, is like, should we, do we want strong campus teams? Okay, great, then we better give them accountability to be strong and then hold them accountable. And part of it is being able to get people in and help them decide on where they're going to contribute and whatnot.
I had another question, that is, if a person wants to contribute personally, so is it necessary to register in a club or something like that, or he can directly do it only personally instead of joining a club?
So I think, just correct me if I'm wrong, George. So so from the learnings we had from the Take Back the Web campaign, so if an individual joins a club, so the work he done, I mean the impact he has caused in the Mozilla, I mean it has been a great, and he will learn a lot, and the things he work on will be a greater impact. So that is why what if there is an individual person who wants to contribute to it, we are redirect him to a club nearby, so that he can be a part of it and he can individually contribute during that phase.
One thing related to that, like during Take Back the Web, I was one of the facilitators. So the biggest problem at the end of the thing was certificates. After every campaign, it's a problem. So please come up with a standard certification policy of what is a certificate, when is it going to be given. I got 2 threat mails that we'll complain about you. I don't know to whom, but to someone.
I think we can create like issues on this, because yes,
Yeah, actually they are in
he's
for the
finding out like what people
So when it comes to the existing certificates, you can reach out to Christos. I think he's still processing all the certificates. And when it comes to the campus clubs, yeah.
Sometimes we give certificates which are like a web maker template.
Right.
But no,
Absolutely. They said, I have already corresponded to Amira, then Julia, then Christos as well. Then they all said that we are sending the templates. You can just take a printout, write the names and send it to.
Yeah, I think we can take it offline. Take back the web certificate. So this certificate, we in FSC program we used to give the certificates for FSC senior. So when they reach FSC junior or senior, we used to give the certificate. So here also we are creating an activity timeline so that if they reach that particular activity, they are going to get the certificate from the community manager. We got it. Yeah.
just have a standard for
Yeah, sure.
No soft copy of the certificate.
Yeah, we are giving the PDFs, signed PDFs. Yeah.
Actually, we have not given, but we'll
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah, we have time for one more question. Yeah.
So you said that like after the formation of the clubs, for example, let's take any state, any city, they have different clubs under it. They have club captain executives. So they'll be reporting or like taking the help from regional coordinator, some sort of that. So like what we can take it as a knowledge is to, for example, a rep approximately, right? And according to the new Mozilla restructured thing, we have functional teams, focus teams. So how these two things are related? As in, for example, if a person is a part of functional team, or let's say, for example, meta team or focus team, any team, and so will he be a part of will he be a regional coordinator or not, or how these two things are related?
I think that is what we are going to figure out in the evening session, like aligning that to the Indian thing, Indian structure, local structure. And one more thing is the regional coordinators is open for everyone. So in the first phase, the regional ambassador leads are going to be the regional coordinators because they have.
Actually, right now the regional leads.
Yeah, exactly. So the regional ambassador leads of FSA program are going to be the regional coordinator. And in the next phase onwards, then we will open the application to everyone so that a rep or anyone can apply for it, and he will be accountable for that. Yeah. Yes. And thank you so much for everyone for being here, and I hope we have clarified most of the questions, and if you still have any question, you can reach us out. So me, Biraj, Tanay and Mayur are from the Campus Advisory Committee, and you can find any regional ambassador lead here, and you can get out to him, you can have a personal discussion with them about how you are involved in this program. And I'm really excited to present, I'm presenting this at Mozilla India Meetup, and let's do it. Thank you.